Hello, everyone, and welcome to another interview with the Hearts of Healthcare Professionals, where we rebalance and renew your resilience. Now, with this interview, I'm taking a little different turn from what the mindset work and the yoga mindset and the removing blocks and meditation and all that type of thing. And I was thinking, when I was working full time in the hospital environment and outside of the hospital environment, what was something that really just was hard for me to manage. And it was meal planning. Oh my goodness, I just could not put that into place. And so I said, I know somebody. And I'm so excited today to introduce you all to Kristen Norton. She is a friend of mine, and she is a licensed dietitian nutritionist, and she is co-owner of the Well Balanced Nutrition business or nutrition company.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Okay, so welcome, Kristen. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Diane. It's an honor to be here.
Well, I know that you've got the answers for us, and that's what we need today, answers.
That's right.
Now, how can busy healthcare workers who are decision fatigued quickly build a healthy meal plan? You have some tips for us around that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
So I'll just start by saying that my husband works in the ICU. So I know firsthand what it's like when he comes home at the end of the day. First of all, it's hard for him to transition into, coming home, and we have young children. And so I can understand, to come home and then have to think, all right, what can I build in the fridge or in the freezer to make a healthy meal? You just don't have the energy after a long shift.
Right, right.
So with meal planning, you really do want to set yourself up for success so that that's more of an automation than another decision.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So spending some time to, map out what some dinner options are going to be for you, or lunch options before your shifts or before your week starts is a great idea.
Mhm.
And when you think about a well-balanced meal, I like to say that there's a checklist.
Okay.
You want to have colorful produce, fruits and veggies. You want to have a protein-rich food. So that could be chicken, fish, turkey. It could be some vegetable-based protein like tofu. Then you want to have some good complex carbohydrates. So think about carbohydrates that are found in nature: potatoes, peas, beans, corn, or whole grains.
Mm.
And then you want to tie that all together with some flavorful fat, whether that's avocado or a nice tahini lemon dressing or your favorite sauce or salad dressing.
Okay.
So again, a meal, you just have to follow this checklist. Do I have colorful produce, protein, carbs, and fat?
Okay.
So when you're meal planning, you can kind of break it down into those things. All right, what are the protein options that I like, that are easy and they're fast? What are some vegetable options or colorful fruit options? And what are my carb options? And then you go and think about, simple plug and play meals that you can prepare either ahead of time or, do some chopping or whatever you need. So when you come home, here's the formula.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's the formula, or here's the meal that I've already set up, and you just enjoy it.
Okay. Wow. Now, I think there's some key things here with your schedule. You definitely need to figure this out before work.
Yes,
Like you
right.
said. Yeah. Um, so very good. Okay. Well, now you teach your clients how to meal plan and prep efficiently. Can you help give us some tips on that as well? I'm gonna
Yeah.
computer
So
up. It's about to die. Sorry about that.
that's okay. I think that having the well balanced plate formula is the first thing we can do to plan efficiently because it gives us a structure in our planning. But when you map out what kind of meals you're going to have, the tips for efficiency would be to pick meals that are going to have efficient cooking methods. So when I think of efficient cooking methods, I think of perhaps a crock pot meal that you can set it and forget it, or a sheet pan meal that everything goes on the sheet pan and you roast it in the oven. What's most efficient about that actually is the cleanup is super simple and easy, right?
Yeah.
Because after a long shift, you don't want to have to sit there and do a bunch of dishes.
I don't want to do it
No.
under the best of circumstances, much less after work. So
Right.
this,
And when we think of meal planning and meal prepping, a lot of times you'll see like the same meal in a little container and you eat it over and over again. And that might be efficient and helpful for some, but then you really kind of set yourself up to get stuck in a rut because you've got to eat that same meal over and over. So my efficiency tip that prevents burnout is to meal prep ingredients rather than meals. So meal prep a bunch of quinoa and brown rice mix, that you can add that to your well-balanced plate, whether that's you've got chicken one night or soy and honey shrimp the next night, but you've already got your side prepared.
now let me ask you, can you freeze quinoa?
Oh yeah, it freezes really wonderfully.
So that's what you're saying is cook up a big batch of it and have it put up in batches that you just grab and you can go with it. Oh, okay.
Exactly.
That's a great idea.
So usually the fridge is good for about 3 or 4 days, but anything after that, you want to stock it in the freezer. But quinoa and rice, they freeze really well.
Okay, I've never thought to do that.
And another thing is, batch cooking some chicken. So shredded chicken, it can go in so many different things. So you spend some time putting it in your crock pot, or you can do it on the stovetop. And then you shred the chicken. You leave it kind of just with some salt and pepper so that you can flavor it up.
Okay.
So, for instance, one night you can use that chicken, put some barbecue sauce on it, have it with some coleslaw and a baked potato. Right?
Right there, that's a simple meal, isn't it?
Exactly. And then the next night you can have it, put a little bit of salsa into it, and you have like a chicken tostada with a little bit of lettuce and Tex-Mex kind of ingredients. And then the next night maybe you put it into this is like a comfort meal for me with a little bit of broccoli and cheese and rice and chicken, and you kind of mix it all together in like a casserole style. But all of those things are just kind of more assembling it because you had that ingredient already ready to go.
Oh, that's very good. Yeah, that does make it easy. You don't have to think about it. You kind of already got the plan, right there. That's great. Kristen, that's such a great point. I've always heard shop the perimeter of the grocery store, but we might miss a lot of things that are in the aisles. Can you tell us some things that would be useful that we might find?
Sure, I've got some ideas right here.
Well, okay. There we go. Ask and you shall have.
That's right. If you don't want to do some batch cooking or you just don't have time, you can pick up some packets of quinoa and brown rice. Okay. This is a good brand I like. Just 90 seconds in the microwave and it's ready for you. Great to take to work. Lentils now come in this nice little pouch as well.
Is that microwavable as well, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's ready to go. Getting your colorful foods in might be tricky, but these are some fun things that are down the aisle. Okay. There's a little cup of cut green beans. So just a nice little way to add some vegetables to your meal to get that colorful produce in. And don't be afraid of canned vegetables anymore. They are no longer doing cans with BPA in them.
Okay,
So it is now a safe option that you don't have to worry about. So
good.
canned tomatoes and canned green beans are actually the most nutritious in the aisle, but you can get canned beans as well.
Nice.
So, I mentioned that you have to have, or you need, for a balanced meal, you want to have colorful foods, you want to have protein, you want to have carbs, and lastly, that flavorful fat to tie
Wow, I like the
to
word
it.
flavorful.
Yes. Well, and sauces are the way to go, really, with that. And one of my favorite cheats with sausages or sauces is this little skillet sauce
Mm.
with chipotle and lime. They have a variety of these, but my tip is really to just look at the ingredient list.
Mhm.
I'm not going to read this out, but when I looked at it, it's like, okay, those are all things that I would generally have at home and be willing to put in my own sauce.
So
So
that's
if
just a packet of sauce.
it's a packet of sauce, yeah, you toss it with some frozen vegetables or some chopped onions and peppers and your shrimp or chicken, and you've got a nice meal.
Oh, very nice. I haven't seen that.
So, yeah, look for sauce cheat sheets or cheat sheets, cheats, fast things like that. Oh, another complex carb, the
Mm.
brown rice that comes in these little cups that's microwavable. And you don't go down the aisle for these, but bananas, apples,
Yeah,
carrots. Don't forget about those things. Those are important to get your color in, and nature's fast food right there.
there you go. It really is. And I think it's important to remember too that you might think, well, microwave food not always or prepared food like that is maybe not the healthiest option. Maybe not, but it's a heck of a lot better than doing your junk food. It's like when you're off and you have time to really prep. I'm probably not saying this right. The point I'm trying to get across, but the when you can take the time to make the meal you want to make, that's perfect. But then what's your backup plan? And these are all such great plans for when you're working and your time is so limited, you know?
Right.
And I used to even sometimes just so this is the time period that I'm going to have paper plates.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you don't want to do dishes, right? You have this little tiny window after work to do the things for you.
Right.
You don't want to spend the time on dishes.
Exactly. Especially with so many people now with their children having to help in the evening or whenever they're home with online schooling and that type of thing. So your time is limited. Wherever you can gain a little bit is a big, big deal. So,
Absolutely. And I like your point too that we can get into like paralysis mode when we think it's not going to be perfect.
mhm.
Like, oh, but it's microwave food. It's not that great. But think of it more on a spectrum, or the paper plates. Oh, well, that's wasteful. But think of it on a spectrum, right? Like, here's where I'm at realistically. I'm busy with work. I'm starting to get burnout. What's going to be worse, eating microwave food or eating fast food?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. Yeah,
Go with what's a little bit better and don't be afraid that it's not perfect.
exactly. Get rid of that perfectionism mindset.
Exactly. Yeah.
And probably not the best time when you're working to come up with a brand new recipe.
No, no. So
Save that
I
for a day
always
off.
suggest people when they meal plan to start with like, what are the 10 things that you already know how to make?
Yeah.
And you make them well and you can make them in your sleep. Have that listed out so that you can go to those meals. And then, if you feel like, well, that's boring, I don't want to get stuck in a rut. Well, think about it like Taco Tuesday, there's a million variations on Taco Tuesday. So
Yeah.
just because it's your go-to meal doesn't mean it has to be the same exact thing. There's ways to change it up but
Yeah.
still make it simple and fast.
Exactly. Now, have you had any experience with like online shopping where you go pick up your food at the grocery store or it's delivered to you?
Yeah, and I've done it a couple times and I really enjoy it. And I know some others who they do it religiously every single week. That's their thing. But I'm kind of geeky and I like the grocery store and I like to see and touch it and I like to know what's in season. So I haven't transitioned away from that completely because, I'm a dietitian. I like to be around the food.
Exactly. My daughter actually says it's her therapy to go to the store, the grocery store, and just touch and smell and take it all in. So yeah, I get that. But it could really be a time saver when again it's where's the compromise? Where you've got X, Y, and Z that must be done. So how can A, B, and C still happen? Paper plates, the microwave rice tonight, the um, having someone pick up your groceries or shopping online, you just swing by and grab them.
Absolutely. It's a great tool when you need it.
Yeah. I guess that really was something a long time ago. Think about episodes of Andy Griffin and the merchant would bring the groceries to Aunt B sometimes, or I remember our milk being delivered to the front porch and we had a galvanized can that it was put in every day. So yeah, we've
Yeah.
just resurrected it.
Yeah. It's a great tool. Saves you time. So when my husband's working and I don't have any childcare, I don't want to bring the kids to the grocery store because that is often chaotic. So that's when I use it, and I am so thankful for it because it can really come in handy.
Absolutely. Very good. Well, Kristen, this has been so good. I know our audience is going to want to know more about you. Can you tell us a little bit about where they can find you and what you're into with work right now?
Sure. You can go to wellbalancednutrition.com. And we are all about helping you meal plan. We help you eat mindfully and intuitively. We have one on one coaching sessions that are offered virtually. We are in network with insurance, so you could have coverage for your visit.
Oh, that's great.
And we have a meal planning course and challenge that will be launching in mid September.
Oh,
So you might want to check that out. And for all of you, we do have a free meal planning made easy guide, very comprehensive,
nice.
lots of delicious recipes. So if you're like, yes, I'm ready to get on board, start thinking ahead, automating my food choices, then you're going to love the meal planning made easy guide that I have available for you.
That's great. Thank you. And that's so timely that you happen to have the meal planning challenge coming up because you can get your download and kind of think about how that goes and then fall right into your program. That's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of people, they could DIY it and they can figure it out. But there is a whole bunch of people like myself who just do so much better with accountability and doing it at the same time of other people with that encouragement and connection. So, we're really excited about it. It's worked really well for our groups that have gone through it.
Great, great. Well, that's exciting. Well, thank you so much, Kristen, for being here today and just giving back to everyone. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. It's been a pleasure. I always love talking about food. So thanks for having me.
I do too, but maybe not the same way as you. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to work on it. Oh, well, everyone, thank you for being here and just continue to show up each day for new interviews. And we look forward to seeing you. Bye for now.